if the education has got a very solid picture, education has got a solid role to play here, so adequately we have to understand that the teachers do have a very important role to play here in terms of offering education. Now perhaps some of you may be having a question that we are already doing a good job, but now the situation has changed. How we used to perform earlier, that might not be the same pattern with which we will be performing today, because our expectation from the system has changed. System's expectation from our systems, I mean the infrastructure, the authority, the students, everybody, that has changed adequately. So now what we need to do, we need to concentrate on the learning part, the teaching learning component, and how it has changed. I'll have a couple of questions for you. Maybe you can answer it later on, but I'll have to put forward before you. Yeah, next slide please. So let us quickly see. So is this the type of the classroom which we are seeing today? If we talk about a modern classroom, so is this what we are looking at? So what is the most important part that we see here is that everybody is using a device, a connecting device, and that situation may differ from course to course, program to program, class to class. But one thing that binds them together is, next please. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean back please. Yeah. So there's a question which I'm going to ask you, is that use of data improves learning. Do you think that? So that means these all people who are using this laptop, one thing that connects them is the exchange of data. So all are in a networked environment. Now some of you may be asking this question because the other day I was delivering a talk, so some people were talking about that many of them do not have that basic infrastructure, they're not having benches in the classes, and we talk about online learning. Now as I said, let me put this caveat direct in front of you. These questions will be there. Even when the banks went for computerization, so many people objected, there was a huge resistance from the people, but then the banking revolution did not stop. They did not stop for want of computers that point in time, but today we see almost all the banks today are computerized. So same way, it may not be a journey to be completed in 24 hours time. It may take many more years to complete, to achieve that what we have envisaged, but that does not mean that the presence of data or the modern classroom should not be there. So that is not the question what I'm asking right here. I'm trying to harp on a point that, do you think that use of data only can improve learning? This is a fundamental question, but in absence of it also is not an acceptable thing. Fine. That means modern classroom should look like this or not. I'll take this answer later on from you. And data is an important part. So, but that actually forms the backbone of any e-learning application. Next please. So now as teachers, I'll have some very important questions for you to answer, where I'm going to ask you that, are we ready to acquire new skills and completely retrain in order to remain employable in the future? It's a fundamental question, because today, as we said, that the children who have been exposed to teaching today, the subjects that they are studying, when they grow up, God willing, they become teachers. So they may be teaching some subjects which were not there. Today with the subjects which I'm teaching in my university, some of them were not taught to me when I was a student. So therefore, there is a serious introspection required for the teachers, that are we ready to retrain completely ourselves? Are we ready to unlearn? So I'm asking you, if you are teachers today, maybe certainly you are young teachers today, but this question could be asked to the senior teachers also, who have been taught, let's say 30-40 years back. So are they willing? If yes, then perhaps they can adapt to online learning very easily. If not, then situation might not be that rosy. Now second important question, to develop competency among students, do you hold time constant and make learning variable, or the other way around? Now, this is a very interesting question which I keep on asking. So, if you say that time constant and learning variable, so then there is a linearity which is being brought into the picture. I explained the point. That means you are considering that I have to complete this syllabus in 4 hours, or maybe one topic I'm going to complete in 4 hours. So 4 hours means every student is supposed to learn within 4 hours. Is it practically possible? I mean, I leave it to, I cannot interact with it right now. Maybe I think I can take this answers later on. That means you are suggesting that learning is a linear function, but unfortunately it is not. It is non-linear, because there could be slow learners, there could be fast learners, there could be rote learners. Different variety of learning abilities are visible in a classroom ecosystem. So therefore, one has to categorically understand the basic challenge while we are trying to impart. Because here I am going to give you very interesting analogy. There was one professor who was retiring in one of the most prestigious institutes in India. So on that retirement day he was asked, so do you have any regret? Professor, you are retiring today, you have been serving this institute for the last 28 years and you have taught numerous students who have occupied very big positions in different institutions. But do you have any regret? So that professor said, I have only one. Everybody was inquisitive to know such a decorated professor awarded multiple times by the government of India on different occasions. So what regret possibly he could have? He said, all my life I have been trying to teach physics. Never I tried to teach the students. Now that's a very powerful sentence for all of us to understand, that he has been teaching the subject. So there was one notion of linearity in his subject. That means perhaps he undermined the fact that students may have different learning abilities. So are we ready to approach the course, approach the class subject in such a way that different learning abilities are fostered equally in one classroom? It's a very uphill task, but this is required if you want to enhance the skills and competence. Next please. Now, why this is becoming very, very important? Because as I said in the previous session, you will see the NPA education loan is shooting up very much. That means a student is pursuing a degree, getting awarded, but unable to deliver what is expected out of him. So that means the ROI, return on investment on higher education, you will know in private education is very costly. You go to even a good school or a good college and they charge you in lakhs in India, and if you're going abroad it is more than that. So therefore, if the return on investment is very poor, so perhaps there is a lack of trust of the students on the institution. Not I'm talking about teacher or the college, institution of learning. So perhaps the one idea sneaks in, though I have attained a degree but I have not learned, so I am not going to exploit my skills in making my life a better one. So what is the major problem? So major problem comes next. Yeah. So major problem comes in the way how we manage the aspirations of a learner. So I'm gradually taking you to the basic point. So yeah, previous one please. Previous one. Yeah. So in between, actually I am delivering from phones. In between phones are coming, so I'm just getting a little distracted. So excuse me for that. So how do we map or manage the aspirations of a learner? So what do we mean by managing an aspiration? So you have to understand the basic intent of a student, how he or she is looking at approaching the subject, and then accordingly go for mind mapping, and then you need to manage what kind of extra or what kind of ramified applications the subject can have in his or her life. Now if we don't do it, if the student doesn't get that kind of support, what happens? Yeah, next please. Yeah, so I have labeled this one as mismatch or mismatch. So mismatch means mismatch between the preparedness and expectation, and mismatch means wrong calculation. So what happens, this poor girl is trying to take a plunge, but she falls through. You know, it's a complete nosedive. That means till in third image you will see she is happy, she is aware of that, okay fine, I am prepared to take this plunge. But taking certain flight, she finds that no, the height is too much for me to contain, and then she falls down. So what happens if you are having a preparedness dimension? I mean, this is a spectrum which I had designed specifically for you to make you understand that there is one dimension of preparedness, how well we are prepared. It includes your teacher's contribution, your own contribution, self-learning, everything. And the other side is expectation. So usually there is a big gap between the preparedness and expectation. So we are having two major moderating effects here. One is the competency and second is creativity. So therefore you have to see, here this girl is running this race alone, but in a classroom situation, in a competitive job market situation, you are not running this race alone. There are people. So you need to be creative, you need to be different, you need to be original. And at the same point in time, to solve any kind of problem, your degree will not be there. It will remain a piece of paper until and unless you attain the skills that are expected or imbibed into your piece of paper. So therefore, there is a distinction between the preparedness and your expectations. So you expect what you are prepared for, or rather you prepare and then you expect. So that, I mean, which way you have to look at it. So therefore, let us see how online education can help us, because traditional classroom training has not been able to help. Had it been so, then online education would not have come into the forefront in the first place. Fine, next. Yeah. So now that NEP, I'll just try to draw two lines, because already I think you have had enough of NEP coming from different sources. So two important factors or two important points which I have compelled me to think or compelled me to bring these two issues to this topic today, that de-siloing education and fusing it with skill development. So you are teaching them, but there is no hands-on exposure. Understand, this is a very serious thing. One students, you are making them in electrical engineering, but basic electrical circuitry or making something in his own hand, he or she is unaware of doing. Or maybe you are teaching somebody of your own area, maybe rural management or marketing management, but when it comes to a product design, a policy design, or maybe a label design, the students gives up. Oh, sorry, I do not know, I have all learned theory. And then another important part, if I have studied marketing, I do not know about finance. If I have studied finance, I'm completely unaware of HR. So that is, it's living in silo. So now NEP talks about making a it's making a combination of subjects where your arts, your social science, your engineering skills all can come together. Now I give you a very classic example here. We all heard about Steve Jobs, right? Now Steve Jobs he went to Stanford but could not complete. There is a lecture on his available on YouTube, Connecting Dots by Steve Jobs. I may request you, if you have time, you can go and watch it. He took up computer science and calligraphy. Now, aren't these two things are very distantly placed? Computer science, hardcore programming, device, their machines, languages, and calligraphy is all about your creative juices, your how you design, how you draw, how you write. But then Steve Jobs says that those calligraphy classes helped me to design the fonts that are used in Apple hardware and software. So you may not know, from different sources people draw inspiration and develop something which otherwise not have been possible. And then flexibility of how we are going to learn this subject. So it has to be a blended learning approach. We are going for a very straight-jacketed one, so we need to have an a controlled dose of technology vis-a-vis traditional classes, whichever way it has. It could be experiential learning, it could be lecture method, it could be case method, it could be a didactic method. So there are multiple ways a teacher can explain and imbibe ideas or permeate down ideas from the minds of the teacher to the students, and then let the students explore themselves. So that is what NEP is talking about today. That's what is needed if we want to talk about having a blended learning environment. That absolutely, remember our days, the chalk and talk was there. We were in the university, we used to have something called OHP, overhead projector. I do not know whether you have seen it or not. We all have seen perhaps the PowerPoint presentations and all. So OHP used to be something teachers used to come, put their slides on, show it to us, we took a note of it, and it was very rote. Even if we were not attending the classes, sometimes, we did not bother, that fine, the notes will automatically come in. But I'm not generalizing it. What I'm trying to tell you is that focus, that there should be a blend of technology, classroom teaching, discussions, peer learning. So that kind of consciousness was absent maybe even 10 years back. When I started working in e-learning domain way back in 2003, people used to make fun of me. I have no qualms in saying that we are, as if I am trying to throw every teacher out of their respective jobs. But this is not the point. Point is, blended learning means you are using different techniques, we are combining it and augmenting into single process of imparting education. So this is what is needed today. When you will understand, if the student does not understand your lectures, he may understand the videos. If he doesn't understand the videos, he may like the interactive question answers. If he doesn't understand the question answer, so there is a peer learning discussion forum where he can clear his doubts. So therefore there are multiple avenues through which one student can explain or quench his thirst of knowledge. Fine? Yeah, next please. Okay, so this is one of the matrices which I had developed, I think this year, and it's under publication now. So for any teacher, you will see the students actually belong to one of these 4 quadrants. So I'll explain what are they. One is rote learnings. Rote learning means you are cramming things, so where you are having very limited time but too much of data. So you give them lots of books and give them limited time. Like our board students will see, what they will do, they will try to mug it up, they will cram it, and they will vomit it the way they have been served to them. Then you have the induced learners. So induced learners are those who are, the active engagement is very low, so they have been forced. Please study something, you read, you have to read. So they are very, non-reactive kind of thing. The people who are usually belong to the lower category of your class in terms of marks percentage. The third category is traditional learners. They have ample time. They are maximum time they are attending classes, but active engagement is very low. So they are preferring to see the world through the eyes of their teachers. What teacher is saying, they are very blindly following them, be it in terms of notes, what is there in the book. So self-exploration is very limited. But the objective of all teachers is to have a matured group of learners whose data engagement or engagement is very high, and they give adequate time also. So therefore they listen to the teachers, at the same time they try to explore what beyond what teacher has said. So this is the basic matrix with, and your students, those who are into training their people or maybe teaching the classes, they will find that within this 4 everybody can fit in. But here you will see either there will be the highest volume would be parked at induced quadrant, some of them traditional. In matured domain there is very less, a least number of people would be there. So your objective will always be to increase the volume of your students to the matured quadrant, and then you will see on top of it that we have drawn a spectrum, that one side we have the data and second one design thinking. Now if you remember, if I have shown you one picture where you are showing there's a connected classroom, everybody is sitting with their respective laptops. So I asked you a question, is does data improve learning? The answer is no. It does not improve learning until you are augmenting it into your learning process. which is being facilitated through the design thinking approach. Now, what do we mean by design thinking? Design thinking is the process of innovating new methods of any activity that you may be doing. You are designing something new, but design is not a mechanical process. You have to apply a lot of thought process. One stage in design thinking is involved called empathy. So if a teacher is teaching, first of all, if he or she thinks that let me live the life of a student and then start teaching them, so you try to be very empathetic towards them, and that methodology is being adopted by companies like Byju's, companies like Unacademy, and you will look at their videos, you will find them that how easily and different languages, different versions, by multiple repetitions, they are explaining a simple concept. So therefore, even the slow learner, they can learn it maybe in 2 or 3 iterations. So therefore, that is the level of empathy. If I am using very difficult words to explain, if I am using strong jargons to explain a topic, so the student will always remain away from the topic, may not come and gel with the topic, and then learning becomes a challenge, a burden on them. So that's what data should be used with the design thinking approach that makes a mature learner more in your class. Next, please. Okay. Now we'll see what are the challenges the people are facing today, the institutional challenges. So primarily, the cohort learning. Cohort means the group-based learning where different groups are being taught. So you have a fixed educational structure, the timetable-based, syllabus-based study, single pace of learning. Students are being taught by the teachers in the classes. Face-to-face. This is what I'm talking. The pre-COVID, post-COVID situation will be different. So face-to-face knowledge dissemination, limited counseling system. Usually in government institutes, primarily nobody takes much care of the counseling the students if in case somebody is falling back. And then the knowledge based in the physical libraries, like in my university, Tripura University, your library, there is no exchanges. Nobody from outside can access the library. So now recently Calcutta University has opened their doors for worldwide. You can go and access them from online resources. So these are some of the challenges which needs to be bridged using blended learning approach. Next, please. Yeah, so now that takes us to the continuous part. Now today we are seeing that schools, colleges have physically been shut, and then how learning continuity could be ensured. So now one thing is very critical, that we are trying to do the personalized adaptive learning, which talks about the cognitive psychological flexibility. They can exercise their brain, the psychomotor movements in order to acquire new skills. Fine. Next, please. Okay, this is another interesting part. So today we are having CBCS system in university pattern. In the ICT talks about it. The NEP talks about the ability to skilling of the students, which means that not everybody has to do an MBA, not everybody has to do an MA or MSc or MTech or PhD. So even there is a vocational courses that might be appropriate for one person to live their life happily. So one size fits all kind of program must not be there to ensure the students keep learning, because the dropout rates are very high in India. Yeah, next please. Okay, so now here we need to inculcate the critical thinking approach, and proactive approach we need to adapt for the students, so that the students keep working on exercising their own mind to develop a original solution. That is what we also call a creative intelligence, and people are working on these days, and recently we have concluded some studies. I will talk about it later on. Yeah, next please. So I think one interesting part here, we talk about the LMS part and ERP, where we try to capture data using online assessment. So now you can track a student's behaviors, a student's performance only when you are actually monitoring them through. So LMS and ERP, I think one of the modules have been discussed or will be discussed today, I do not know. That will be covered, I guess, in this, how to set up an LMS. Now I will tell you, in my university, I had personally established an LMS with the support of my research scholar, and till date it is the only one. I mean, I did it 2 years back, 2.5 years back to be precise, and it is still the only one in the university where we can monitor. Now I can track the engagement level. So you can you can track the engagement level of students, how many times he has visited the page, how many times he has downloaded, seen the page, how many tests he or she has given. So you can create a profile of the student in your mind, and you can understand the performance, the seriousness, the engagement level, every single details are available with you. And therefore, with an online assessment, you can actually track and monitor a student's performance. So if you want to manage the aspiration of a student, you need to monitor and track the growth of the student also till the time the student is with you. Next please. Now the next important part, we talk about ubiquitous learning. Ubiquity is a part, is a concept which means everywhere or anywhere. So you can learn anywhere using your smartphone, any of the devices that you are using. The contents could be beamed across to you using a network, and you can access it today. Within the institute, outside the institute, now we are conducting this program. You may be at your own respective places, and we are attending this part. So that is the ubiquity of learning. So that means that I said learning continuity means that learning should continue come what may. Even if there is a physical closure, even there is a lockdown, if there is rain, if there is floods. Now I wrote an article, I think 2 months back in one of the newspapers. So I said that, rather I wrote that schools are the first of the institutions which usually get shut when there is a natural calamity. Fine. But then the worrisome part is learning stops also. So that means in our school days, if you remember, if we had a rainy day, we were the happiest. But did we ever care that perhaps some part of the learning we missed on that day? But today, due to the competition, people are very much conscious. So therefore, even if you are locked for 3 months, 4 months, there's online medium, so the ubiquity factor is there. Anywhere learning is possible, and you can keep on learning continuously without having to bother about the physical travel. Now the Accenture CEO said one very interesting statement to their employees. He said once that do not commute to compute. That means those who are software engineers who are coming to the office every day and sitting in front of a system doing something and locking the code into the main portal, that can be done using the computers at home also. So why somebody has to travel through the complete traffic and then in big city areas with a huge traffic jam and going equally, trudging the traffic? So that's why today you will see the ubiquity factor is so powerful. In most of the companies, they are already offering the employees to work from home. TCS has already asked for next 2 years perhaps, or till such time the vaccine of corona is invented, people are advised to work from home. But that does not mean their job will suffer, the performance will suffer, and they are doing pretty well. So that means in education sector also that can go. There are challenges are there, health hazards are there, but then we'll talk about it later on. Yeah, next please. Okay, so now we are talking about another important teaching method, which is didactic learning, the teaching of theory in a flipped classroom model. So flipped classroom usually is a reversal of the process where you expose to the experiments outcomes first and then you bring it to a theory, because that all are done in order to enhance the interest towards learning of a student. Sometimes what will happen, we mostly take them to the theoretical part, then we give examples. What if we start other way around? We start giving them examples, like case method of learning. I mean, I do not know whether you follow it or not, but in management education, case method is a very preferred method of teaching. Across all good B schools they teach, because there you are having people of CXO category or senior manager category or maybe middle manager category. So they do not prefer to be taught like school kids within the theory. But if you start giving them problems and then bring it down to the theory, it is easy for them to connect with the theoretical part. Fine? Next please. Yeah. Oh, this is one important factor. I have included it because I have been asked this question many times, because there is all a digital divide. India is such a big country. For us, the digital divide is a very important aspect, where many of our children, many of our students do not have to the access to the minimum computing facility. Yes, this is true. I'm not infrastructure wise, I'm not going to comment, but I hope that the time will come when infrastructure will be developed. Yeah, next one. Yes, this is something which I want you to bring your attention towards, that college students, they had preferred technology and to be blended into the curriculum and teaching. I'm not saying complete online. I think I want you to draw attention here that what I'm trying to propose here, that this is the methodology of teaching of, or maybe andragogical methodology for the higher education students. So they always prefer to be taught in a blended environment. Why? Because, and this is, I'm talking about the research. Recently I said that I had conducted 2 studies. One is, for Tripura University we had done, one we have done in Dhaka University, and the other one we have done in Rajshahi University. And we are working on the University of Petersburg in Russia. So all students across those universities have suggested, and you will be surprised to know they do have the similar kind of problems. We see that maybe in students in Tripura University having some technological background, technological challenges, financial background, financial challenges. But in Dhaka University, Rajshahi University, in Russia, Moscow, everywhere where students community have reflected the same kind of feeling. But then they have preferred, if the infrastructure is not the constraint, they have preferred blended learning. Now this is something, a powerful statement which I want you to concentrate on. That means the setting has always been made ready. The students have liked blended learning model. Students have appreciated the blended learning model. So this is something what is needed today, that people have to concentrate on how to design and innovate the blended learning model so that the maximum learning gain. Now learning gain again is a quantifiable measure, for formula is there, but I'm not covering it today. But you can always look for and Google it and find out. Learning gain is a measurable quantum within which you have to calculate that whatever impact it is causing on the minds of the student after the teaching has done. So now research has suggested that students are preferring blended learning. Fine? Yeah. Next please. Okay. So this is the education grid, which again I think last year I developed it. So one side it talks about the instructional delivery part, and other one flexibility part. Now how it had evolved, one single click please. Yeah. So now what happened, first we had the complete offline education, the form of education 1.0. Then we had little bit or intermittent use of technology, instructional delivery. We have education 2.0. Then further intervention, we have the portal, we have the LMS that comes under education 3.0, where the flexibility is more student can pick and choose subjects, like we have the SWAM courses. But then till education 3, it was augmented within the curriculum of an institution, within the curriculum of an university. But now we are talking about education 4.0. This is the new revolution which has come from, again derived from industry 4.0, which has 2 major aspects. One is the ubiquity part, and second is the agility part. So agility means on shorter cycle runs. So I don't have to go to the college. Understand, mark my sentence very carefully what I'm trying to say. Education 4.0 means, even if I want that I am engaged, employed with some organization, I want to study, but I don't have to go and attend a college. Now you can question, then this is the same as distance learning. IGNOU has been doing it for so long in India. But education 4.0 is something different. So I can take a course on SWAM. I go to NPTEL, I can take. Coursera, I can take one courses, whatever I want. And I make a bouquet of it. And then I train myself into a subject and I find an employment for it. This is the category of education 4.0. The prediction says that over a period of time, the volume of such students are only increasing. Next please. Yeah. So now how the changes has happened over a period of time. How the changes has happened over a period of time. This is what I am trying to explain here. That from 1980s to 2020s, I mean in a gap of 40 years, situation has changed. that we talked about, general e-learning, general aspects of education. Now, over a period of time, from blended learning to metacognition, and you will see that agile methodology is one important part, agility part. That means flexibility to change. Now, if I'm lodged into a subject, so I have enrolled into a subject, not a program. So I am studying subject A. Along with, I can take subject B. I do not like it, I can change it, and I can go for register for second subject. So there is no foundation. So I can switch, I can change my gear. So this is the basic efficacy of education 4.0. So that is creating a breed of students who are immensely flexible in terms of their decision. They are going for their choice-based subjects, and they know what they need for their career to prosper. So these are the students who fall under the category of non-traditional students. They are not enrolled into a specific university for a specific 4-year, 3-year, 2-year, 1-year degree or diploma program. They, on pick and choose basis, they are acquiring skills relevant to their profile. Next, please. Yeah. Now, if we are having an system, if we are working and online system, what we are getting using an LMS, we are creating humongous data sets for the students. They are constantly, their signatures are being created. So the output is going to be unstructured with a variety of data, and finally they all lead to a pattern. Now this is something very interesting. If you are using an ERP, you will see that they are creating very large data sets. So if I am capturing data for the last, let's say, 5-10 years of my student's profile and trying to understand the importance of the subject, or maybe how one course is being taught in the university, how students have fared. So I can create that kind of data sets, I can find a pattern in it. Fine, next please. Yeah, so this is the education ecosystem by Ernst Young 2017. So we are actually operating in this setup where we have the society, we have the industry, we have experiential learning, the dynamic technology, and the stakeholders. You will see that they are there around. So we are working in this ecosystem, and they are providing us the necessary impetus to understand and explain how we are going to change that pattern of teaching. Yeah, next please. Yeah, next. Now, what is a non-traditional student? This is the basic requirement. Non-traditional student is next, go on, next please. Yeah, so non-traditional students, primarily they are the people, they are taking a small time out of their busy schedule, enrolling for a particular course, getting their relevant output, and they are moving at selecting the next ones. It is not there, as I said, enrolling for a new course. They are enrolling for subject wise, and what is required, what is best for them, they are doing it. Now, I do not know whether you have encountered these people around you or not. Many of you have enrolled for a SWAM course. Somebody can go for a music course, somebody can go for, let's say, a calligraphy course. So they are the students who are non-traditional. For that, they have not enrolled into an university. They are just going online, taking up selecting those courses and fulfilling them. Fine, next please. So if we are going ahead with agility, so what we are finding is that they are creating a complex adaptive system of different skills. So the triad, 3 aspects of agility says that you have to focus on the impact, you have to learn by doing, and we have to iterate evidence. That means every time learning gain is enhanced, you keep on doing so. And the best part is that it is improving with period of time. So that means we are having a very agile system. I enrolled into a course, pursue it, I don't find any value in it, so I leave that. I go for a better course where I find some value, continue with that. So with this thing, we are improving ourselves, we are enhancing our skills, and thus developing for a better future. Next please. Yeah, so now as we are trying to talk about, so for an ERP, the major 4 aspects which I am going to talk about, you having an LMS, that it gives you an academic alert system, the student advisory, the cognitive tutoring and data visualization. So all four combined gives you a proper image of your students. So academic alert, if a student is not attending classes, if the student is missing tests, so those alerts are being generated to you, beamed to you using your ERP. Then from that LMS also I am understanding what kind of results they are doing, the engagement matter I am finding out. It gives me a complete visualization of my students' performance, and accordingly I can advise the students how they should develop, how they could improve, and then combining all these three, I can go for a psychological training, cognitive tutoring for my students. I can go one-on-one counseling. So there the blend comes. These top three are all through your computing systems. The cognitive tutoring is through the physical one-on-one meeting. So therefore, that's how we are blending the educational system, wherein we are giving the computerized automated alert messages, and on that basis, after that inference is drawn, I am going for a tutoring session or the counseling session with the students. So they also feel that they are not being left in the hands of computers only, but teachers are there to take care of them. Yeah, next. Yeah, so that again, the data which will be popping out of my LMS, I am going to use it for my learning analytics. Yeah, next please. Yeah, keep pressing 3. Yeah, bus. No, back. Yeah. So now, what are the analytical part which you are going to see? The student dropout prediction system. Now you will be very curious to know what I am talking about here. That looking at the statistics, looking at the student's performance, engagement level, the system can actually predict if the student is considering a dropout. Now in my program MBA, they 60 start the program each year, but 10 or 12 people usually drop out each year. They could not predict, but I have no idea. Only in the examination I get to know they have dropped out. So we did not have any opportunity to counsel them, because we do not have a proper analytics measure to track their engagement. Those who are trying to find out a solution how to do that, probably if we could have counseled them right in point of time, they would have continued till now. Some of them succumb to the pressure, but they are not counseled properly. And then I am getting live statistics, and that statistics could be shared with them, with their parents, with the teacher continuously. So students also know that how he or she is faring. And then I am trying to measure the individual progress of my students. So now these three approaches are very, very essential for you to measure the overall learning gain for the students, and that's how you can improve a student's performance. That's how you can improve the overall performance of your class, and thereby of the institutional performance. Fine. So now let us quickly see what are the tools that are available before us. Next please. Yeah. So these are some of the tools and techniques are available, wherein you can have your own LMS, like Moodle we have done. Of course, Facebook and those things that are not there though, but then again Google, YouTube, they could be used to blend yourself with the formal classroom teaching. You may record your video, you can share it with them, send the study material, and again you can go for a cross check. Microsoft Teams are there, Litmus is there, Moodle, we are using Moodle continuously. So now these are the approaches which we have to think. If we are talking about that, perhaps the same chalk and tug method will continue. But remember, under this new normal, where blended learning has been proposed even by the government of India, the traditional classroom will not be the same even after the lockdown or even after this COVID thing goes off. The new normal has already set in, and we have to adapt to the modern ways of teaching, which is online blended learning. Fine. So with this I come to the end. So thank you for your patient audience. So if there is a question, I'd like to address. I think I have concluded within the time.
Thank you, sir. It was really an outstanding session, I believe. And I think from the participant side, if you have any question, please raise your question. Sir is here. Yeah. Abrar Ahmed, when time is constant, then learning variable is linear or non-linear?
Yeah, I think Abrar, you have already explained it yourself. If the time is constant, then if you are making one factor constant, then it becomes linear. but which is not, that I had answered in my question. Because you cannot make learning a linear phenomena for the very simple reason that students do have the learning abilities which are different than others. So learning will always be a non-linear part, non-linear factor, which as a teacher we had to consider and explain accordingly.
Iram Sabha, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the insightful session. My question is that what about those students who don't have digital connectivity from them? There will be learning gap. Any possible way forward?
That is one important question, because that's I explained in my presentation also, that there's a digital divide. I consider it is existing in India. Not only India, digital divide is there. You will be surprised to know even in the developed nations also. We look at them and find them that they are very blessed in terms of everybody has a connectivity. No, it is not. Network bandwidth issues are there. In Bangladesh, the bandwidth charges are very, very high. But still, remember, this is a vehicle. Now, if we are talking about the benevolence, if we are talking about how they should be connected, there are two ways to be done. In West Bengal government is offering the education through the television part, which is a mass education which Government of India used to do long back through UGC programs. That could be alternative way. And in Tripura also, maybe from this forum we can recommend the state government also to offer the educational program through the television is one of the content they could be beamed through, because if almost households have a television today. Data bandwidth may be a problem, but television bandwidth even today India is not a very big challenge. And in a TV is not one, but the entire room can learn from there. Maybe it can accommodate 30 to 40 people can listen to it comfortably. That is one part of it. And the second part is that infrastructure requirement is still there. So there should be government intervention in order to develop the infrastructure. That's also I feel. So I hope since the government has taken these steps of NEP, I hope infrastructure is there, because personally I know a task force has been set forth to evaluate the infrastructure requirement. So maybe in 1 or 2 years time you can see even the farthest corner of the country is connected.
What I believe that you got your answers. Sir, I have received one question yesterday. I just like to discuss it with you.
Yes.
Somebody has asked me regarding why Government of India is not offering free of cost net connectivity or subsidies in the net connectivity charges for the students. So obviously that's a policy decision of the government, but definitely if there is a cry, then proposal may be raised to the government so that they can think of the deprived section. But as far as my idea is concerned, in the Asian countries, India is in a better position in terms of data charges and all. So
yes,
I like
certainly.
Yeah.
Yes. India is. There are some. Compared to the countries like Bangladesh, then we have Nepal, Bhutan. India is in a much better state across all South Asian countries, because I am personally working with people from Malaysia, Bangladesh, Russia, and US also. US is not that fortunate. They are also having a data charges they have to pay. But the point it is, I personally do not buy this philosophy of giving things free of cost. Why? Because nothing is free in this world. Remember this thing. It is bought from the taxpayers' money. So unless until, from the business standpoint, if you do not have a source for earning and only become a sink of expenditure, so it is going to make a hole in the pocket. That's what I'm saying. What could be given free of cost, they're exactly being given free of cost. The content, the intellectual property is being given free of cost. The SWAYAM courses, which have been designed and developed by the people from different institutes, so they have shared their content. So they have been paid well by the Government of India, and now those courses are being offered completely free of cost. I think that is something, we do not appreciate those, and that's the unfortunate part, but I appreciate them, because I have prepared 120 videos which are there online. So I know how much effort it takes to prepare one single 5-minute video. And then the next part about the infrastructure, it takes some time, because if the government is going ahead with a inclusive plan, so it might not be an intermittent intervention from developing one, erecting one tower somewhere, one tower in Dehradun, second tower in Bhangmun. This is not going to be the case. The way MHRD internet connectivity has been given, extended to all government institutions, same way the infrastructure is coming, the task force has already been made. But for a country like India, things will take some more time than expected to set things up. Yeah, do I answer your question partially?
Yes, yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah.
And I believe that our participants, they also got the answer of their question. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your insightful session, and definitely we will look forward to have you in our future sessions also.
Thank you, Shivan. Thank you.
Session. This is the session. This is the most technical session, I believe, because engineer Parthapratim Bhattacharya, assistant professor NIRT PR, NERC Guwahati, he has actually integrated this NIRT PR-LMS.in platform, and currently we are using this platform for conducting this online international training. So I like to tell a brief about his profile. Engineer Parthapratim Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor, National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, October 2008, has a demonstrated history of working in the teaching, engineering, education sector in various capacities. His areas of specialization is information and communication technology, which includes hardware, networking, embedded systems, digital marketing, technology for learning science, and various application software. Presently, he is State Link Officer of Tripura State also. In the past, he has worked with other distinguished organizations like Indian Institute of Technology, Computer Science and Engineering Department, Kharagpur, as Junior Technical Superintendent from November 2003 to October 2008. Eastern Railway Signal and Telecom Department as Junior Engineer Signal from June 1997 to January 2001. He also worked as consultant IT in Ministry of Rural Development, Monitoring Division, SECC project from August 2010 to February 2017. He has qualified GATE in 2001 with 94.69 percentile and All India rank of 396. He is ME in Computer Science Engineering, followed by engineering degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering and Electrical Engineering. He is also a chartered engineer in Electrical Engineering and member of Institution of Engineers India, MIE. So with this, I just want to request Sri Parthapratim Bhattacharya sir to kindly deliver his session. Over to you, sir.
Yes, Shivan, thank you, Shivan, to give a good presentation for me. And other thing is, now I want to discuss the technology part. So I request that I want to share the screen. So I think you may enable it. So then I will start my discussion.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. I am starting now. I think some glitch was there due to some bandwidth issue maybe. So that is why I stopped my video. So now I started because I think this software is bandwidth requirement is high. So what I am doing now. So here. So we can start. So video conferencing or whatever I discussed. So we have the software that is for that we have to do one-to-one and video interacting. Like these facilities are now given by Facebook and WhatsApp. And then one-to-one, that is that video conferencing links. Also, I think 1 to 4 maximum you can communicate in video conferencing mode in the WhatsApp, like the free of cost. Now, whenever you go for the end-to-end meeting, maybe a huge number of participants, you require special software. Today, what we are using here. Then one method is pre-recorded video lecture can be presented in the audience. So you can take a video lecture and you can place it and you can do. Second is to capture the video for future and which can be placed in the website and then you can show it, like in YouTube. So my previous speaker has already been discussed, that is the NPTEL courses. Some NPTEL courses they are doing, they have all that video lecture in the studio they have made and they have placed it in YouTube, and so that they are giving free of cost. So sir has to mention one thing, that is not fully free. Whenever somebody wants to get the certificate, he has to pay 1,000 rupees for that. So this way that some NPTELs are going on. Now almost all IITs and NITs, they have made mandatory to do the courses through the NPTEL. Now go for the inside of the technology. So first thing what we have to know, that is the domain name. So you have to understand the domain name. So in a simple word, the simple word, we can say that a domain name is the address or name of any website which you want to access. So whenever something in the cloud or internet, so there should be a name. Otherwise, how you can call it? So this is a domain name actually, through which you can type it in your browser and you can access it. There is few unique features of the domain, like that it is typed in the address bar of the browser to access the website. Here it is LMS portal, because we are thinking for the LMS portal only. Rest of the website making and other things we can discuss in other discussion forum also. So LMS is also a website type things, a web portal, so that should have a domain name. Here for my things what you are accessing is, that is nidpr-lms.in. Domain name is unique to every website, means there can be two websites on the single name cannot be possible. But otherwise, how you can call it? Domain names are managed through the DNS, that is domain name system, to avoid the duplicacy of the domain names. So for that you have to maintain a domain name server, so that where this DNS server works it, and it can make a uniqueness of each and every domain. So before hosting a LMS software, it is essential to take a domain. So that is the thing, because without taking a domain you can do. There is some possibility you can do the public IP also, but that is not look like a good. That is 4-level numeric numbers are coming in field, but that is not a desirable. Now comes to that types of domain names. The generic top-level domains. So domain names represent the highest level in the domain name system hierarchy. The Internet Assigned Number Authority, that is IANA, in the year of 1985 released the 6 top-level domain names. However, at present the number is 21, and the 3 popular levels of domains are as follow. What we can say, that is a domain name for you can find www some names, then dot something. This dot something is that like .com, .net, .org, .me, .edu. So com means commercial, net means network, org means org, edu means education. Are defined. So these are the top level, that is that extension is the top level domain. So these are the costlier ones. Next is the type of domain names, that is at the country top level domains. It's a purpose of distinguish one country from the another. Two-letter domains are established and become the associate with the countries and geographical location. This is called the country code top level domain. So these are the next level of pricing is coming. For the example, country top level domains are .in for India, .au for Australia, .uk for United Kingdom, .pk for Pakistan, .us for United States. So these are the country level top domain. Whenever you are writing something, last one is the .in. Like my one is that NIDPR-LMS.in. That means I use the country code. Second level domain. Now, as you buy the domain names for your website, you should be very careful while selecting the domain names, as it helps to following things I will tell you. Because when you are taking a domain name, you have to be more careful, more knowledgeable, so that your domain should be properly represent your theme. What is that? Create the first impression of your business or training LMS. So where your LMS may be commercialized, your LMS may be training purpose, you can use it free of cost. So whatever you do, your domain name is a small, easy to rememberable, but it should be reflect what you want to do. Second one is to define your brand. So in which brand you try to use. So that also you have to think. Third one, improve the search engine optimization. Because if you make a domain, if you make a website, if you make a LMS portal, but how people know? Because you have to search it in the search engine. So if you search it in the search engine, then it will give a list of the available location domains. So if you have not able to optimize, so your rank of particular site will be go down, and nobody go to search for second page or third page of the search engine. So you have to think how to optimize it. So for keyword and others you have to think. So this is called the search engine optimization. So this will be also can be discussed in other discussion forums. So this is a very important nowadays. Whenever we think for any portal and like that. Next one is that how and from where to purchase a domain. So domain name purchase, you have to go for a domain name provider. Like in India, is the popular one is the GoDaddy, is the first. Another is the domain.com, Bluehost, Namecheap. These are the popular ones. So my preference is go for the GoDaddy. So process to buy domain name to the GoDaddy. So to buy it, go to the https:// file, or you can go for the Google search to the GoDaddy. You can reach this site. As I mentioned earlier, domain names are the unique, and that means there can be exist only one domain name. Therefore, first of all, you have to check the availability of that domain name that you are looking for your website. So that things you have to think. So you have to search it. Start the search in the search bar with keywords represent your business or brand or any names you want to have the domain. So you have to give this particular name and you have to search, and they will give the suggestion what are available, or they can tell it is not available. For example, I want to buy a domain name for the digital marketing. Let us check whether it is available or not. So by clicking that search the domain name. Obviously digital marketing is one of the popular things nowadays. So if you search it, it will not available. So now come for the process of buying domain name. So that thing again we continue. If domain is available, now you can give some name which is available. So you have to purchase it. So buy it before someone can else does. So whenever you purchase it, you have to think whenever you are choose one name, somebody may know and they can purchase before you, so that your domain may not be available. So what you have to do? You have to purchase it. But whenever you think of purchasing, the domain cost is not very high. It is very small cost. So that is like 149 rupees for first year for registration. And second year it is coming for the 599. You can purchase for the 2 years or more than that also. So if you purchase it 3 years, so 599 into 2 plus 149. So it will come something 1146 like that. So 3 years. So that is a very small cost. But if you take to purchase the domain name and go for the LMS portal, then that will be the best for you. If you want to buy a cheaper one and then explore the suggested option as well also. So you can there is a lot of suggested one is available in the website, that is XYZ and other extension you can purchase, but it is suggested not to do that because you may save some 50-60 rupees only, and that will not reflect what purpose you want to do that. So first or second level you should use for better output. Once you finalize your decision and you have selected that is your domain is available, so you have to click add to cart. Then click to the any other option, the domain is added to your cart, and click continue to the cart to check out the option. So whenever you do that, so you can go to the cart and you have to check out option, then you can pay your money and you can purchase it. Whatever you will try to sell other products, because they have the hosting facility also and other number of products are also there, so they try to sell it to you like a push sell type. So you have to take no thanks, so then only you can come out from that side, because otherwise they will insist to purchase something else. So in the first time, whenever you are making a payment, you have to make a sign-in, you have to make your all the information, fill up a small subject registration form, so that you can sign in. Or if you have an account like me, I have the account in that GoDaddy, so you have to log in there, and then you have to check the payment option, and the correct country or region you have to select. That thing is must. Otherwise, mismatch will be there. Whenever you adapt it to host your portal, then. So I am using an agency for the payment of it. Once everything is in order, click complete purchase. So it will purchase, and you purchase the domain name. The confirmation is also sent to mail ID. So that is the most important thing. You have to keep your mail ID in the set places, so that you can use in future, because all time this connecting username password is required for this domain. Now next part is that web hosting part. As you know, you need to the space to store your website, then somewhere in the server, that is called the hosting. If you think that is our computer, we have put it in the internet, and we have the good internet, we are accessing it through the browser, and that may be visible in the internet or cloud. It is not possible. So there is some way you have to use, so that this particular website, this particular portal will be visible in the cloud. So this process is called the web hosting. From first to buy it, this answer is web hosting provider. So whenever we want to host it, so we have to take some service providers who are giving this particular service, because there is a special type of server where we can host our website or web portal. so that it can be visible to everybody. So these things you have to think. So I think my audio is okay. So now, where to buy answer is the web hosting service provider. Similar to domain name service providers, there is a lot of web hosting service providers from where you can buy it on the server to store your website. So the host, Google, GoDaddy, Bluehost, like that. But we are the service provider for web hosting. Where you can put your website or you can put your portal there. So I will favor to service by the host data. One of the trusted service providers. Please get to start now. On the page, the very first thing you have to do, that is to select the server location. So that is the one important thing. I will discuss it whenever you can go for the cloud, then also you can understand. I think somebody mute the mic, otherwise it is disturbing. A mic should be muted, otherwise it is disturbing. So on this stage, the very first thing you have to do is to select that is a server location. You have to select in India, not US, for this purpose. But whenever you go for that cloud server, there you can think US also. As per the requirement, we will discuss it later in the couple of slides. You see here that there is 4 different plants like that in that host gear: starter, hatchery, baby, and business. At this stage, whenever you are thinking for starting a purpose, so you can host the domain only, so that I advise to take a starter pack. So the result is very low cost. The can include single domain because you have only one domain, a 10 GB disk space, 100 GB transfer level, 5 email accounts, that is immaterial, and free SSL certificate. That also will take separately, not SSL certificate we need to take now. Whenever we install our LMS, after that we will take that SSL certificate. What is SSL certificate? Because it should not be taken, your domain should be secure, or it should not be taken by others. So whenever you see the website starting with HTTPS, so that is just secure, only SSL certified. So my that portal is also certified, and it is also starting by HTTPS. So this is sufficient for our purpose, that's learning. So whenever that is that web hosting, to go for the purchase of it. So you have to select the 10-year website. So whenever you are starting to do, so you have to think for the 3 months. So I think 3 months is good plan. And for this, after installing it, you can extend it. So it will ask the time that if you have any hosting now already the domain for your hosting plus, if you select yes, so then you have to continue so that your domain will be linked. As I already told, my account in the host gear, and I will sign it in my credentials, so that you have to do that. So complete addition to the single domain Linux hosting platform. So hosting platform always should be the Linux, because there is no Microsoft for this high level servers are available. So whenever go for it, you have to choose the Linux platform only. And the mail, whenever you have completion that and you have paid your money, so that whatever that domain name Linux hosting, I think we can give a name that is DMNCC. Where the DM is for digital marketing, and the OC MOOC course. So what you are thinking for the video participant, so that we can do that. And the mail, whatever we have received from the GoDaddy, now it is required for that. So now logging a GoDaddy account. And whatever the credential you received in the mail in the GoDaddy, whenever you have selected your domain, that is DMN and CC.in, because here you have to write the domain name server. So there is that name servers are there, the name servers of the GoDaddy, but whatever you have previously there, that is for hosting to GoDaddy only. Now here the hosting information, there is a name server, we will come to that in the host data where you have purchased that hosting space. So you copy and paste to that login in the GoDaddy. So host data, whatever that name servers are there. If you have the other one, say like other than cloud hoster, so you can use that one also. So whatever you purchase for that is hosting service provider, you have to put their name server location to the domain provider. So the domain will be to that particular hoster. So here our web hosting is the host data, so you have to receive the confidential mail to open it, so that mail also you have to keep it good places. So one is the domain and another is the hoster, where you want to host your site. Make sure that is you have opened the mail and the title. So in addition to that, single Linux hosting in India, for that I think time we are asking that DMN CC is the .in. Here under the exercise of the website, you see the two name servers. Because here the two name servers are there, now you have to copy them and you have to paste it to GoDaddy name server. Make sure that the name blank space before and after the name server is copied. So that is you have to make important whenever you have the copy paste. Sometimes where common thing is one space is coming, or you can common practice is giving a space bar. So if the space bar is coming to that whenever you are copying the name server, so that will produce an error. Once both are the copied, that is two name servers are copied, then save it. Name server will be updated within 24 hours. So it is taken 24 hours for updated. If you have quickly to do, you have to give a contact to your domain service provider. They will do it as well. I have also done that once. Once the name servers are updated, you can receive the confirmation mail from GoDaddy with subject. Your name server has changed, and also confirm your domain name. Like in these cases, here it is DMN CC.in, in that my domain name I have taken here. Now, web hosting service provider, the next level is that to check it. Second is to check the domain name in the browser. You can check it at DMN CC.in/cpanel. So from the cpanel you can check. If you are go for the but our motto is not for the cpanel. Our motto is going for that developing on LMS platform, so we'll not do the workplace and others. We'll directly do through the other software. If you are able to see the pages, it is confirmed the main server is updated and your domain is ready for doing. So successfully you have changed it. Now you can use your domain for the web hosting. So why I tell these things, because in future if you do any website, so you have to use it. So this is the way I show. Now what we want to say, we want to host our LMS in the Google Cloud Storage. So we have to do the Google Cloud Platform. This is the first tool of the Google Cloud Platform. First, we have to take a full-fledged server. Our main purpose is to get a LMS site or LMS purpose, not a general website. So in case of Google Cloud, you have to go for Gmail account for login it. So here you can do that. Then you have to press the country name, where it is India. Then we come to the Google Cloud dashboard. So it is a dashboard. I think maybe visible properly, otherwise you can extend it. My PPT are there. You can expand it. Same thing you are available. So now you have to design a virtual machine. Whatever the things are available. So you have to do virtual machine instance, and you have to click here. Now you have to select the VM components. Select the server location, region or zone. So there is a lot of location in the next slide you can see. So it may be US, it may be you have placed it this location. Here it is the where the cost is less you have to think. But whenever that web hosting we are thinking, we have to that host provider, you have to think the place where that is the current location to you. Here it is that backend thing. So you may not observe directly to that. So that you can place it anywhere where the cost is less. So Google is reliable for everyone. Now you have to select the virtual machine CPU and the memory. So minimum RAM is available 3.75 GB and single core processor. In couple of slides you can show it. And disk space should be the 10 GB and Debian Linux support. And later we will use that OS is the Ubuntu. Now, when other components you have to select the CPU and others. This slide you can understand this. And now next level for that domain and others you have to select it. Now finally, after selection of the disk space as well as CPU RAM, this will be shown. Then you have to select the OS. As well, you can select the boot for the Ubuntu 18.04. It is not taking a long time because whenever you click one click, it will install all the OS and others. You need to bother for a long time for installing it because if you install that Ubuntu, it will take 2 to 3 hours sometimes. So that will not take. So now VM instances or virtual machines has been created and with a public IP. So you see the public IP here because through that you have to call it all time. And that public IP and main server name you have to connect to the again to the domain name server. And that is through the domain service provider. So this is essential to do the domain name server. Okay.
Stick in the matite building in the mat. Boy, I'm not looking on town.
No, you have to create the SSH interface for accessing newly built cloud server which is running in the Linux. Whatever you are thinking that server there should not be any GUI. Means any mouse or graphics operation should not be used. Or it will take your resources unnecessarily. So you have to use the common online interface so that we can save our hardware resources. Like this thing it will come, so you have to check out your public output. Now for generating the SSH key for secured cloud. So you have to use for SSH key generation command for generating the SSH key. So what you do, if you have a Linux machine, you have to Ctrl+Alt, you open a terminal, and here you give that key generation key command so that it can generate the SSH key. So next it will be done this way and it will generate. After that, finally whenever that public key is generated, so it will look like that. It is something one characterized word. If you convert this ASCII character here, actually the ASCII character is coming for that. So you have to copy and paste your file by using nano editor. So if you are working in a root login, so you can use that nano command, or if you are not using root login, so you have to use sudo nano command, and you have to put the file in. So whenever you copy it, so it will look like that. So your public key has been copied, and you can save this to a nano editor so that it can be saved. So for accessing the cloud server, you have to use the SSH command. This command is help because it's a lot of help because you may not be the expert of any computing anything. So you just do that typing only. So after entering, it will show like that. So, and it will give you that you have logged into your newly made cloud server. So that this way you can put up a cloud server. So that here you have to install your LMS tools. Here I will go for the LMS tools in the made of what I can say in the middle. So middle will be used for the LMS tools. Now I will discuss the in details of the middle for getting this LMS in details. So I can go for my next slide.
I believe if anybody is having any query till now, you can ask your session during the sliding time.
I think we can go or we can ask after completion of all slides, so then only we can also discuss.
Okay, sir.
So because I think time is going on, I have already running, I think 30 minutes late almost.
Sure.
So what now I will discuss, that is I will discuss the part so that today this portion what I will discuss. Basic definition of learning management system, distance education and distance learning, comparison and commonly available LMS software, comparison between Moodle versus Google Classroom, because sir has already shown that Google Classroom is one of the popular LMS tools. Next one is the configuration of the Moodle LMS, home pages, and new course in the Moodle platform, topics, then documents, what you can say, YouTube linking, quiz, and etc. in details will tell, so that you can understand how you can craft. Not visible, but it is should be just now it is visible. Oh, I have to change the date change. So, now I think it should come. I think it has come, so that these are the details I have. It is visible because I have the second login I have made this way, so that I can check it. So 2 logins today I have made for safety purpose. So quiz topic is also there, how to enter it. So next I can discuss that what is the learning management system. eLearning or learning management system is a software application for administration, documentation, tracking, reporting, automation and delivery of educational courses, training program, or learning and development programs. The learning management system consists emerging directly eLearning, although the first LMS appears in the higher education sector. The majority of LMS today focused on the corporate market. Learning management system makes up the largest segment of the learning system market. The first introduction is LMS the late 1990. So that if you think for the LMS, that is not today is a new one. It is already introduced in 1990, where the software is developed sufficiently, but it was not popular in such a time. Whenever it is required, but slowly it was popular. And here we will use the Moodle also almost 10 to 15 years old. So this definition I have taken from the Wikipedia. So that is also should know. Now distance education or distance learning. So that also you have to know whenever you go for the learning and those things. So distance education also you have to understand. Distance education or distance learning is the education of the students who may not always be physically present at the school. That is our main condition. Traditionally, this usually involves correspondence courses wherein the students correspondence with the school via post. It was previously thinking, because this type of thinking is actually we have distance means we have the correspondence course. But it is not all times correct. Today it involves the online education. So that is the mainly distance education definition is coming. And massive open online courses. So whatever last time I showed that MWC means massive open online courses. So that is I try to make the domain like that. DMWC.in. Offering the large scale integrated participants and open access to the World Wide Web or WWW. So whatever the things is there, it should be come to the WWW or World Wide Web or other network technologies. And recently education mode and distance education. So this type of mainly the after COVID situation, the courses now becoming more distance mode. And sir, previous speaker has already been discussed that the SHAM NPTEL is one of the great example for that. You can enter their courses free of cost and you can complete it. But if you want to get the certificate, you have to pay 1,000 rupees for that. A number of other distributed learning, e-learning, m-learning, on-learning, virtual classroom, etc. are there. So these are the one type of mode names, some small changes there for each one. And all other self-explanatory, so that you can, by name you can understand it for the significance. These are the usually roughly synonymously and distance education. So like whatever I told you, like that. Who are the top learning management system software available in 2020? So if we go for that, PRTI solution is one of the most popular. iSpringLearn is another one. eLMS, Talent LMS. I think Talent LMS is shown by the arrow. Is a feature. Litmus LMS, and sixth one is a Moodle. Why Moodle? Moodle is a free and open source software, because this software you can get the free of cost. Other you have to pay. So PRTI is a $2.95 per month per user. I think you can understand how much costly it is. iSpring, it is something cost, it is $2.82 per month per user. And whereas eLearning is less one, that is $20 per month. So user is not mandatory the number, so that any numbers can be worked. So this is the first thing of PRTI solution is there. So these are the components of it. So I don't want to discuss these things, so I want to go to the system insight. So Moodle is the free and open source LMS tool, and Google Classroom is also another LMS tool which is provided by the Google, but it is not open source, but it is free of course providing till now. I think they will charge after some months, because they also want to make a business. But Google Classroom has not that much of complexity for configuring and other things like that. And this is a Moodle for screen, like that the components. These are the Google Classroom first screen, but it is not the open source. Now we can go for the classification or comparison, that is a Google Classroom and the Moodle. Google Classroom is a part of Google Suite for Education, or Google for Education, that is packaging of includes the Gmail, Google Drive, Google Calendar and other tabs. So that is a G Suite. The main focus of Google Classroom is that it is simple to use and encouraging collaboration between students and the teachers. So that is okay, but other component it is lacking. Teachers can create a class and list of assignment of few clicks. They can add the students by name or send a code to their enemy. Students then can see the assignment and participate in the discussion forum or message to the teacher. So either in private or via group chat also. While the Moodle is based on a modular design that lets the teachers and administrators build their own curriculum using plugins. Plugins is a very important of the Moodle. I will show later. For various workflow, content and activities. Users have to choose either installing their Moodle account on their own server, or they can take their cloud server also. And they can take the possibility of their Moodle own server also, because that is possible. You have to pay for that. But if you download their software and install it in any cloud which is provided by you, or the cost is there by you, so then software is free of cost. The cloud-based platform called is the Moodle Cloud, like other name. Provides us several benefits such as accessibility, scalability, and a very short implementation process also. Moodle Cloud comes in a two package. One is the Moodle for the free and Moodle for the school. Moodle for the school is not the free. What is the pricing? Google Classroom is free of service for the teachers and students. However, they cannot sign up unless the school has registered for the free Google for the education package. So Google Classroom is only for the school. So that school has to be registered in the Google platform. Google also offering that optional product services such as Chromebook, authorized tools, and professional services. So that some of that components may be you have to purchase. Now pricing. Google is open source, is free to download and install. However, the cloud-based deployed, the Moodle Cloud has a Moodle for School package, which is 3 package plans are also there. The mini plans actually cost is $190 and is intended to use for the 100 users, which include 2 additional features, an advanced theme and an account and extra plugin pack. The plugins are the important I told you. In the small package, that is the 380 above package, it accommodated 200 students instead of 100 and 400 MB space. So, that is a cloud hosting part actually it is coming. The medium plans is 760 a year. It allows up the 500 users up to 1000 MB of the file upload space. So that is the maximum they can offer for that. The solution for a free plan, and note that while the Moodle open source service is free, but you may incur the cost in form of implementing and hosting solution on your server. So that is why some cost is involved, because you have to install that is a cloud space and others. So Google Classroom key features are there. That is, includes the platform branding with the full color logos, ability to result test, assignment, other content of future classes, share videos, links and images with other students, then student posting, assignments, export data to the Google Sheet, and set permission for student access. So some new features introduced recently included that the ability to send an assignment to the individual student. So that was not there, a group was there. You have to form a group, then you can send the assignment. The individual student can be sent email and mobile notification also. So that thing is important now, because everyone should be within location. And that assignments, due dates, etc. is also customized, and type of notification that is received, like that. Moodle provides many features such as mobile apps, content authority tools, and support multiple languages. That is a very important thing what is supporting by the Moodle. You can do it in Bengali also. Some features of Moodle for the school packages, like big blue button for video and web conferencing. So here we have not used, we have used some separate tools for that, because big blue button is something you have to install another server for that. Quiz venture, gamification, and quiz and test. Another gamification we will call the level up, in that includes progressive checkout, Another thing is that Moodle count for writing assignment, chemistry editor for chemistry assignment, and group of choice for the group of project, checklist, attendance, tracking, etc. So that also we can show you in details in later slides. Now core differences we can come Moodle Classroom and Moodle. Share similar features such as Moodle functionality, the ability of creating tests and assignment, and the content library. So that is since mobile functionality is very important. Here is apps are available. You can use this app for accessing the Moodle also. However, there are also different features. Google Classroom features focus more on the collaboration. While Moodle includes the gamification functionality, Moodle gamification is very good. Plus, although you can include the share video content within the Google Classroom, it does not have the video conferencing functionality. So you have to link it. I don't know how properly you can do this video conferencing facility through the Google Classroom. So that may be a problem. But you can go for the Google that is Google Meet. That also important. So integrated it with Google Classroom. Google Classroom is not available for the business, so that is the main thing. So if you take it to Google Classroom free of cost, so it is for your class, not for the business purpose. So that is the violation of the license agreement. Also, unlike other school-based LMS, it does not offer account of parents. So that is another drawback. Instead of parents can sign in to receive an email summary of the children's work and grades. I think that is for the important thing. But grading for the Moodle is very good, and it is very easily can be accessible. Now, ideal number for users is the 1 to 99. So that is the constant. You have to go for up to 100 only. Moodle school plans only accommodate up 500 users. It may be issued for those who require a solution for 500 users. So that is the maximum limit. So that's the constant also. So ideal number of users for Moodle for if you install it in your server or with free of cost, if you purchase it LMS part, that is that which is number of users is something 1000. Shortcoming is there, although the Moodle main customer base is the school, it's also available for the business, because you can use the normal training program here, and I have used practically. So you can see the availability and how, and I use my Moodle platform for all the slides here only. It's also available for the business. Okay. Moodle Classroom is only available for the school. It is not for the business purpose, and it is violating the license agreement because somebody are using for this. In addition, Google Classroom accommodates an unlimited that is numbers of users, but ideally it is for 100, but not more than 100. But the cloud-based Moodle for the school plans accommodated by the 500 users. So these three are the websites I have used for doing this PPT. I take it their help. So this is the first tool of the Google LMS. Google LMS. This is the symbol of the Moodle. So Moodle has been downloaded, installed and hosted in the private cloud storage. So whatever I saw the private cloud storage in my previous discussion, and there I have not used that how to install the Moodle. I did not show, but that can be discussed in separate form because today's time question also there. It is almost 1:45. It is also running through the domain link and the public IP address. So if you, I have already showed you the domain, how to integrate it. So name server you have to write, updated in the domain service provider. If you have that Google Cloud, then you can update that one. Or if you don't have, you can do the hosting site also. Or if you don't want to take the domain, you can go for the public IP also. That is not suggested, but you can do that. And if you have the name server, so you can put this portion. Otherwise, you can suggest it that if you go for the domain only. This is the first screen of my Moodle LMS. So here you can see the topmost one is our discussion part, or whatever, where we are discussing today these things. So nidpr.elements.in, it is my domain. So it is HTTPS, that means it is HTTP certified, so that it is a unique one. Now, what we'll discuss, the customization and the registration part is required, because whenever you register, then only it will come to Moodle part, that is you are posting in a new portal, and then also for Google also it will take care. So whenever Google is take care, then you can make your search engine optimization work. So go for the admin user, for that admin login, that is the site administration, click registration, do not change it for appropriate boxes if you want to do, and after completion click update the registration. The next screenshot is that for this one is the screenshot. So mine, I want to say that is the domain is also okay, whatever is given. Now I come to the actual portal. So there is the portal, I have given the name, the Proshikhan eLearning portal. So this is the portal name. So next point, whenever we discuss it, we say that is the Proshikhan. So after registration, this Proshikhan eLearning portal is registered to that Moodle as well as it is come to the Google, so that we can do the search engine optimization work. So some customization you can do for that, some small changes you can do. So these things is here. Now we are entering for the main thing. So how to make a course inside the Moodle. So now in a couple of slides we discuss in details of it, which is our main idea. Because the main audience who are there, 90% are the user of the LMS, not to install the LMS. If you have if you have your IT team or network team or system administrator group, they will install the Moodle in the Google platform, but you have to know the basic idea. So that I have shown it. Now we will go for the configuration of the courses, how to go for that. So these things we are going to discuss. Here the Moodle has the user role. Main users are the first are coming the administrator. The default user, the host of the party who can do everything with the system. So details I will say that later. Then is coming the manager, has a similar capability as an administrator, but unlike the administrator, this role can be assigned and capability can be customized by the administrator. So administrator is the top, then you can the manager can do that administrative role, and it can be customized by the administrator also. Then we have the course creator. Can go to the can well create the new courses. So that is the thing. Next coming to the teacher. So here what I have done, teacher, you have given a number of list of the speakers. So you can rename the any user role. So here I rename it. I will show how to rename it in the letter. So here you can get a lot of speakers names. So these are the speakers who are here available as a speaker. So these speakers will be tell the details of the course. So that is they will taught the courses. So here that is the teacher is the user here. So teacher user is renamed as a speaker because they are going for the training purpose. So they can add and edit the reading contents and activities in the assigned course. So administrator has to assign a particular course to the teacher. He can add, edit, upload everything to the assigned courses. Non-editing teacher. Non-editing teachers cannot add the edit the reading content. So non-editing teacher or speaker cannot add or edit the reading content. That is the thing. Now comes the student. Can access the available courses as a student, but here I am renamed as a participant. So here the students are the participants. So I can user role can be renamed as per required. So we are doing that, so that as per the training you can customize it. So here that is a first. So create a new course, add a new course. First you can click the dashboard and then click the courses, so that you can go for entering the new course. So place in the full name, short name, description. So these are the screen are coming for screens for full name, short name, in details here. Here is a red color mark, you have to put it, and description here you can find that is previous slide. Here some description is there, so that description will come that side. Here this is the description. This description will come here. Now you can select a flag. Here you can flag. And the maximum size of uploaded document. So whatever the document size you have uploaded, say I want to upload a PDF form of a PPT, PowerPoint presentation or presentation. So the maximum size of the file is the 8 MB. You cannot upload more than 8 MB file. So that is why I have to make it two separate slides for today, because the file size has increasing. So that is why part 1 and part 2 I have given the name. So here the flash you have to place, so this flash in the JPEG form. So here it is a flash. So this is the flash are coming here, like that. After adding new courses, click site administration, courses, manage course and categories. Just the course name in the proper position, say here it is the third position is there. By plus button you have the drag to up, so that it will go to the upper one. So it is a running course which are going on, so you have to give the up one, so that running courses will be visible properly, so that people who want to access it, they can see the running courses in the first position. When you are opening it, they can see it. Multiple running courses can be continued, so participants can self-enrollment at a time more than one courses also, if they wish, if and self-enrollment is enabled. Otherwise, after fill up the registration form, administrator by thinking they can add them to a particular course. And you have to click the arrow button for visible the course. Otherwise, if you click and cross I button is there, so that course is not visible. Next slide you can see this. So here the I button is the last one, so that is a visible invisible. So here it is a setting button, there is a gear button, so you can add or change the shutter I have say. This is a plus button, you can click and drag to up, so it will go to the up one. And here it is a bin button, you can delete the course also, you can do that. Now click dashboard, then site home. The new entered course will be visible in the defined color as the course is not visible to the other user. So last one, whatever I have made, so green color here you can see it is not visible to other user. Administrator can see that. So here I am showing that 2-3 courses are which are there. So this is in the list. This course has already been completed. Our international training program for learning science also, that I have made it through energy site also. Now one by one you have to add the topic by clicking the set courses, because you have to add the topic first, otherwise you cannot distinguish. So for that you have to make first the set course, you click and then turn editing on. So inside the course you have to make the turn editing on. So you have to make the pencil button to editing the topic, because initially topic 1, topic 2 is the name will come, you have to rename in the first topic. After completion of that you can copy paste also, then you press enter, so that this particular topic name will come to the what is the heading of the subject. You can add the topic by clicking add topic. If you have the 8 topic is not sufficient, more than 8, you can click add topic and continuously you can add into the topic. For changing of the place of the topic, you can drag to the plus button and appropriate position. So you can change the position also by using the plus button. This plus buttons are there. These are pencil buttons are there, so that you can edit it. And add new courses, add new topic is here. You can do that. After adding this new courses, you have to put the documents, because you have to add the reading material. Because who are the participants, they have to take the content. It may be the reading material, it may be PDF file, it may be the doc file, it may be the DOCX file, just like the Word documents. Click add an activity. So everywhere it is lower side there is a add an activity. That particular course you click add an activity. Or if this is what I write for a particular topic, so now select for the file menu, that's the radio button, because this is the radio button, this is that scroll you can do, there is a file menu which is there, this is the file menu, you click it, then add. Whenever you click it, then it will be, you have to add them. After that you have to fill up the name of the topics and whatever that details is there, that file you have to drag and drop in this position. So it will be uploaded it and it will show the file. Now this particular documents you can restrict access. The number of restrictions you can put here. So you can select a date. So you can select date and time, so when it can be available for accessing by the participants. So that things you can do. Now in the top you can see when the general part is there, so there you can add that program schedule. So in the general part you can add the program schedule, you can mute it PDF or doc file also here, so that whenever the participants access it, first you can see the program schedule in the general part and the top. Or if you put the video conferencing link, that also you can do, what I have done here. Now you can do that at a real-time online meeting. Say here Google Meet, you can say here we are pre-conference call, whatever the things, we can integrate it. So these are the super tools. So you can put the Google Meet here also, and you can integrate it. So for any particular topic, because you can put it in a particular topic, what I have done here, first topics I can add it because I know it will continue because materials are the different. Click add an activity or resources for a particular topic. So particular topics you can put a different one, you can save one also. Then select URL menu, that is from the radio button. Previously I have shown, the next slide also we can show it. And I add, place the meeting URL to the URL attributes. You can add the restriction by clicking the restrict access. Finally click the save and return for the course. So here it is that you can go for the URL button in this side and you can add it and you can put the restriction so that you can put that date and time for that. Now for that particular things we have put that URL name, so I can put another digital marketing, another course name we have added here. So there that particular things you can put. So after putting, you have to save and change to the main source. Last one is there. For adding a new online video, because initially I told you that is that some persons are present in real time mode, they can present like we are presenting it. Somebody mute your mic, otherwise I get the problem. Please mute the mic. And for new video, whatever I think that if you can prepare a video, so I'm continuing. For adding a new online video, say YouTube video you want to link. Some of your participants maybe or some of the speakers want to do the offline mode. So what is the way they can go for that? Say YouTube video they can link here. Click an active or resources for a particular topic, so you can add it. So here you have to select the web menu. In the radio button where we have placed that previous slide also, next slide also I can show how you can do that. So add and display description the course page, so that description will also come to the course page. So because these things you can be more careful because people should understand what you want to show that. So that also YouTube link you can do, like some NPTEL they are giving a YouTube, so they can also link here also. So it is understand that it will running from this LMS only, not YouTube. But backend it is working in the YouTube, because YouTube is one of the most popular, I think popular most video link for India. Insert or edit audio video files. Click the video tab, then you place the video URL. That is URL of the YouTube. You have to put it actually. Here you have to put the display resolution. Otherwise, it will not be displayed properly. So I found nowadays whatever the computers are available, if you put 120 into 600, so it will be the best display. For that you can see it properly. Enter the video title, click inside the media, then you can add some restriction for restrict access only. Finally, click the save and return to the post so that you can go for the main part. So here that is YouTube link is there. Here that page here that portion is there. You can click it OK. Then you come to that. So here the video names are there. So whatever that I have given details, some explanation is here. Now here is the video part is displaying. Here you have to click it. After clicking that, it will come here. You have to give that video, this portion click. You have to give the URL and display. So here you can give the resolution 1200 and 800 so that it will be displayed properly. So after that, you click here and then it will be saved. And the save and exit to the main menu. So here you can see the content and announcement page. Here you have the program schedule. Here the courses as is coming. Where you have given some documents, that is the PDF documents you have added. You given to the other documents, so it will come in this side. So this way you can add online on real-time meeting, offline meeting as a video conferencing mode. That means that particular speaker can come on real-time mode or non-real-time mode, but participants may not understand it properly. Participants understand that the persons are playing the video in real-time mode, and all the study materials they can put it here so that it can be observable and it can be downloadable. Now I can go for the quiz and the multiple choice question, so that assignment has to become, because exams are there. Please add an activity or resource for a particular topic where you can add it in the previous work. Same way you can do, and then click the quiz menu radio button. Add a click display the description on the course page so that this will come to the course page. So this way, here instead of here the files and etc., here you can click the quiz in this portion. So it will add to the particular topic. So you have to give the name of the quiz. You have to restriction the quiz. You have to control time, you have to tell the number of attempt. You can attempt one attempt, or you can give the maximum attempt 2 or 1 or more also. Multiple attempt also you can add it. So you can add the date from which to which date it will be available. In my quiz, I think today 6 o'clock it will be available for our courses. I will show it later. Whatever the quiz you have entered, you can time restriction, say my quiz I am giving a 30 minutes time. Whenever they have logged in, it will give the 30 minutes time, how many questions you have answered, that will come. If you give not answer all the questions, whatever you answer, that will come to stored in the system. So this way, so we can give that pass marks also. You can give the 30%, 80%, whatever you think you can do. Now, review option, there you can get the marks on review other than you never did. Now, after completion of quiz, that enter now you have to enter the questions. So, edit. Here you give the edit quiz, so there is a this window will open, so you have to give that you have to give that is a new question, so you have to click, so then you can do that. Otherwise you can edit also, edit quiz, and you have to give the maximum grade. So generally we have the CGPA type, so you can, there is a default, you can change it also. Now you have the options of questions. You can give the multiple choice question. You can give the other type of questions also. It is also showing here, so that after clicking this video, you can text entry also. You can give other types. So you can add finally, so it will come. So here I am giving a multiple choice question. The number of answers, one or more can be correct. So these are the question names, some descriptions are there. So this will come first, this will come the second. This is the actual question name. Description, if you put this way, it will come. So marks, you have to put it here 1 because it is a 1 mark question, I can assume. Then it is a multiple choice question. So option 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 options are there because here I have multiple choice questions. Some questions are the 4 options, some questions are the 5 options. So you have to put which one is the correct one. Others is the grade none. Here you can put the 100%. If it is a multiple choice, one question is the correct. So if you put the 100%, so that will be placed in the full correct answer. If you say the more than 1% is the correct, so that out of 5, 3 are the correct. So you can put the 33%, 33%, 33% each one. So 3 are the correct. Like this way you can select. So after that, adding the 5 questions, so we have 5 questions. So this will show. You can put this plus button, so up and down, and the answers whatever you have placed, it can be segregated because one user can see in one sequence, another user can see the other sequence. So that what happens, sometimes what happens that students tell that is a 3 are correct, 4 are correct. So the sequence are continuing. Here the coupling is there. So if you don't know, or then C4 marking is not work because one student will say the place 1, 2, 3, 4 the sequence, maybe 2, 3, 4, 4 or 1 like that, that randomization will make. So this way, that is the first part of my discussion is completed. I will go for the second part. So LMS part 2 I will discuss, where I will discuss some more topics. So user handling. So that is the main important thing is the user handling. So course we have made. So here one question has been asked. So I am putting that is if you attend the quiz, so you can get the pass mark. I think the pass mark is very small, so you can attend. And so you can get the certificate. So pass mark is not that much of thing. So you are attending is the main. So after that, we will discuss user handling. That is the most important thing. Sales and manual enrollment. Then customization, registration of questionnaires and etc. Bulk user management, addition of the new user to the administration login, bulk email configuration, sending the bulk email, handling the group. So these 8 items we will discuss now. So that I think I am overrun the session because I understand whatever the time has been added. So that is not sufficient. Still I try to do as fast as possible because I have to at least you have to continue in this way. And another thing I want to tell that is which is LMS is a very vast part. So for 2 hours or 3 hours is not enough for discussion. I have to take a full service course, then only you can understand. And there is a lot of courses offering by the Facebook and others advertising mode also. They are taking some extra charges for doing that also. Now come to the user handling part. It has a 3 part of controlling, and the navigation part is the code details and etc. The administration part, the main administrator or the course training program etc. Then the site administration, which are related to the user appearance, it's linked to the both of the above control. What I can say that now I can go the code system. Here the 3 part is controlling is there. Whenever you can see, I can show in the next part. This portion is the navigation portion. It is coming the site home, so it will show the available courses are there. You have to select the course, then for the course administration. Here it is the site administration that is common for all. So these 3 controls are the main. This way you can do the all things. So this I understand doing first. So we can change it accordingly. Now users as the participants or students. Select the course by clicking the site home, courses, course name. So these things will come for the administration. User, enrolled user. So enrolled user, whenever you click, you can see the list of the enrolled user. I can see in the practical also in my site. It is the chronologically get user, enrolled user, and a particular courses will be user maximum display in the one page, and next page it will be displayed the next one. It will be increased as per the numbers of participants. This way it will be show 20%. So now let's show the list of the combinations. What is the user first name, surname, etc. So here it is the first name starting with the A. After that you click the previous one, it will arrange the ascending order or descending order. It also can be possible. The tabling is there. So first name starting with the S. The next slide you can show. These are all the users which are starting in the name of the S, the first name. So if you have the pencil button that you can click here, you can change the role of the user. So that you can select the multiple user roles. Say a participant, you can put in as a non-editing teacher or a speaker. A speaker here, the teacher is the rename is a speaker. So this way you can put it, and here there is a floppy button is there, you can click it for save. Now you have to know that if somebody has been want to enroll, they have filled up the registration form. But one happens that after filling up the registration form, a name is auto-generated going to so what happens, that particular user may not be enrolled or finally enrolled to the course by accessing his mail URL, because whenever he or she fill up the registration form, there is a auto-generated mail come to his mail ID or her mail ID. He has to access the mail. There one link will come. That link has to be clicked, and it will enter to that. And if it is self-enable is enabled, they have to enable the course so that he is a user of the particular course. So that is not happen. So in that case, administrator can add them manually. So enroll user is a small window, or there is a previous button is there. So whatever that previously enrolled user, they can add in a particular user, because other courses they may be the attendee. So by that way, so that they need not to fill up registration form. Or if it is a fill up, they can access that login only. So they are giving a search keyword, so that list of the participants are coming, so they can one by one add it, and finally if they can put them for that as a participant. So we click the enroll user, and the particular user will come in the list, and the last user or unenrolled user, you can remove the user from the bin button. So whenever it is coming that you have enrolled user come to the list, and here there is a bin button is this side. So your bin button, if you click, that user will be unenrolled. Now self-enrollment you have to allow, because whenever the participants has been fill up the registration form, they want to enroll self-enrollment. So here you can give the restriction. Existing enrollment that is used, allow the new enrollment to use that start date, it enables that is the end date, there is a portion to start and end date, after that save the changes. So that this particular date and time is the any participant want to enroll, the self-enrollment is enabled. After that period, or except in that period, we may say today is the 25th, you can start that self-enrollment 27. From 27 and 11 o'clock morning it will be 11. So we have to do that start time, and it will be say 29th 11 a.m. So the end time, and you have to enable it. So that self-enrollment will work. This way, if it is self-enrollment is enabled, so this one button will be shown. You can see the whenever you click the cursor, this will be self-enrollment will show on the user end before it is a login screen. So whatever the courses of self-enrollment is enabled, so you can see in this way. Then only you can go for the registration. Otherwise, if you register it, you cannot enroll in a course. So enrollment configuration is the now we have there is a I button in the self-enrollment. So if you click the I button, and if it is a cross, so then it will not display. If you don't cross it, I button, so it will be displayed here, so that participants can understand that this is self-enrollment. So if you remove it, the self-enrollment has gone. For manual enrollment, click the gear button in that particular part, and enrollment method screen, and this will come in that below, or select the default role, participants from that drop down. So self-enrollment will be the participants, and so click yes in the drop down, and enable the manual enrollment, then the save changes. So manual enrollment, then only it can be enabled. So that particular cases, whatever the other than user is there, that is other users, they can add the particular participants as enrolled to the courses. Only that is the participant mode, whatever you select in the default. If you want to change, I have already shown on previous slide how you can change it. Click that pencil button, is that participant part, you can add it. That through that admin user you can do. Selection of a list of users other than the participants, the student. So that what you want to do? You want to do a controlling user, because these are the student or participants, they can see and they can download, they cannot control that thing. They cannot upload the courses and etc. Select the course list, then courses, course name, then go for the administrator, user, other user, then click assign roles. Here you can see the list, 6 of the speakers, that is the teachers, 3 managers, and 20 participant students. And this speakers will be visible in the login screen. Here you have already shown you. So this way you can control and how many are there. You can see that is the list are coming, that is which are the numbers are there. Now configuration self-user registration questionnaire. One questionnaire I have to given, that is a quiz, that is a participant. Now this is the questionnaire, is the registration form. Here first thing you have to the login. Whenever the login is there, you have to give the login user ID and password. If you have not, so you can first time, so you have to fill up the registration form. So whenever if you want to fill up the registration form, so you have to fill up all the details. So it will become to the main database. So user database or participant database, even teachers database, everything. So administrator can assign any user as a teacher, as a participant, as a manager, as a non-editing teacher, etc., etc. So that registration form you have to make it customized, because in our type of organization, that is NID and Panchayat Training Institute, there you have to mandate to fill up the registration form. So this is the way. In this session, record to site administration will appear in the course, training program, etc. Then site administration. Whenever you go for the site administration, that is applicable for the all courses. So the user account, user profile field, will show the custom questionnaires for the new user. You can delete the questions by clicking the bin button. You can add it, the gear button for the existing one. So these are the custom ones, so you can add one by one, add here, there is some way for the up down arrow key is there, so you can put one up and put one down also. For adding a new question, choose a drop down. So a list type is coming, there is a 5 selection. When appear the list, choose one of the type, it may be a drop down type, it may be text entry, it may be numbers, you can see from here. Particular question. To fill up these questions, the two things are mandatory: name of the question, short name of the question, yes, and put it. So drop down also you have to select the menu option on the far line, so that here you can give the what type of question you want. If it is that drop down type or radio button type, you have to give the answer. One in the line, it will come to the drop down type list. Here is the specific settings here. So whenever it will show in that start menu or sign up menu window, here it will show. If you put the particular question is mandatory, it will show the red button, and if you don't put, so it will put the initially what happens, I make a mistake in the first time whenever I have done, I have not put that mandatory, so some of them skip for adding the phone number. So phone number is essential for TMP, that is telephone, it was news, that is a mobile number, so that OTP will not generate and OTP will not come. Now is a sign up that maybe it is observed that 3 categories of the questions. Choose the username password is the first default category itself. More details the question editable part directly from that and email address is the database key. Editing administrator, they can edit that code ID and it is equal to enter the server end. Because this portion, if you want to add any question, so you can go to the server name. Other mandatory field as well as you can discuss, so other mandatory field you can add or remove the questions. Here it is the PHP code, if you go for changing. Now let's come. So adding the sign up field, you have to editing the software. If the PHP file is there, you can put it in the nano editor and put the code. I think you cannot properly sign up a PHP form. Same way discuss. So you can add here the continuing was not the mandatory. So here I put the code editing for making it mandatory. But since it is an open source software, so code already, so you can do that. But it is this portion general user may not do, because the person who has the good IT idea, they can do this thing. Now I can go for the bulk user management. because this type of registration form, this customization is required for your help from your system administrator, those who have the good IT knowledge. Now for the bulk administration. So each and every day I have sent one common email. How I send it? In this section is required to have the site administration. The same will appear all the courses, training and discussion earlier. Site administration, then site administration and user account, user management. And the field you can see the default user filter. The menu which is activate will come in the enroll user column or header. So column header you have to select that is what the part you want to display. The list of the users are coming. So what information? So this way you can select it so that it will show whenever you can go further. Like this. After selecting it will come in this way. Bulk user configuration. Site administration, user account, bulk user action, you can send a message to selected user. Or you can select this user and what you want to do, these users you can do. Here the users are the global user. So whenever we do for the site administration, it is a global user. Because this user may be the member to the any course. If it is not to the go for the course, you can go to the course only. Additional new user to the administrator or manager, because whenever the manager selection or user account, so you have to go to the default way, not to the course. It is for the global manager. User account, add a new user, you can add the user to the administrator or manager login. So these things you have to do is the administrator manager login, because this is the site administration you are going, the site administration part is that common for all. So this is the administrator, fill up the create user whenever you fill up this form, because administrator add a new user, fill up the registration form by the administrator manually and not to that user. So this way you fill it and you can put the create user so that user will create. Addition the bulk user administration, bulk user administration, you can download that file in a CSV format. So whatever user details you are adding from the other source, now you put a Google form. You fill the list of the user. Now you want to put them in a Moodle directly. So you have to take a CSV file. So CSV file, the one format is there. It will come, but all the part is not easy to get, because you have to follow its same attributes, same thing, so that it will come. So 2-3 field you add, you can get the user directly. Then user whenever logging it, then the user can fill up the rest of the customers. So here the CSV file you can drag and drop, and site administration, user account, and upload user. Whenever you can click the upload user, so this user, the bulk user, will be added in the database. So it is a facility is given. So you need not to add the all users, say administrator, in that manually, because we may take it through the Google Forms and others. Now, whenever you select administrator manager, site administrator, user permission, then site administration again, site merge the database, click add or edit. Here, you can get the list whenever you go a part this way. So click user and add. Whenever you click add, then it will come to here, or from here to here. And here the search button, here you can fill the keyword. Then it will be added here in this particular app. Or if you want to remove this, you click here and you click remove. Administration user will be used, but their information will keep in the global database. Now front page setting. Front page setting is the most important thing. Whatever you are getting in the thing, is coming. So these things is the content you can write, heading of the page. Here are Proshikhan, eLearning portal, CPR by my names and give. Here you have to write these things. So all the details you have to write here. And other write-ups if you do, here you can give. If you put on flare and etc., you can put here. So these are the details. You can edit it, you can play it, and then finally save the things. And it will be the all time it will be user. And user can, all users or whoever log in the first page, the portal will see in this way. Configure to the mail server. So that is the most important. You want to send the bulk email. So you have to select the mail server. Then site administration, server, email part you have to go. Outgoing mail configuration, you have to place the SMTP host. Here you have to click smtp.gmail.com:465. This is the port address and SMTP server address, that is outgoing mail server address. And you have selected the Outlook, so you have to use the for Google. So for others one you have to know this outgoing mail server. Then SMTP username, so Gmail address, SMTP password, there is a Gmail password, and SMTP security, SSL, and SMTP authorization is the login. So these are simple 2-3 things. If you configure it, you can put the bulk link as well, because I have sending daily research. This you can do. Just 4 or 5 things you have to press. Select and you have to configure. Now you have to configure the no reply mail. So you have to send one the no reply mail you can do. After that you can finally open and save it. Now you have to send in a group mail. Here initially I send it the group message that is for the global user. Now you have the course you have to select. Here you can select upstairs you can select all users, whatever in the list. So 126, 125, 150, there it will be select. Then for that you have to go to the objects, you have to go to the course name, then administrator user, enrolled user part you have to come, otherwise you cannot see that this user list. Now click choose. Here you can select from this is the drop down, where is the choose button is there, where you can select the message. So whatever the message body you want to send, the message body will be placed here. Whenever you see the message body click here, then click send message. You have to click here for the send message. It is the message body. This box you can send the message body, whatever you want to write. And here you can type it, or you can copy paste here also. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V is allowed, and then send the message. Whenever you send the message will start sending. If you link the Google account, if you go for the same mail account, you can see that one by one the message is sending from your Google account, which one you have linked it here, and that is the SMTP server. Now you have completed your course. You want to get the details of the user, what was the enrolled, and details of the database which was there, and who was the enrolled for that. So what you have done here for getting the details of the database, in left side you can get the choose button on details, and you click instead of getting this send message, you can select that getting the user details in XML format. So you can get that Excel format of all the database in the spreadsheet of that all enrolled users. So this way you can get the Excel format. Now for group, so site administration group, add and remove user addition. So you can make a global group also. Where the may not be the in the post or that, so you can group that add and remove the group. So you can use this add and remove group. So this user you can put here, and you can put the add. So list of the group users, so you can see it is a group user list is coming with a global users. So this way we can discuss this portion. Now last one portion I want to see it, show it in form of that is in our LMS site. What I want to say is that is whatever the activities. Now two things here I have left. One part is making a certification. Here is a possible to make that digital science certificate. This portion is left because I think time constraint is there. It is everybody may be hungry for the lunch also. And another thing is I have left, that is whatever that tasks and roles are coming. So this part is here. So I want to show you that. So that is the report portion. So report portion I want to show it here. I think that's what I can.
Nothing is.
Yeah. I am doing that. I think that come here. So here you can see the activities. Here last page, that is I want to show you the physically, that is the navigation button. So here it is the administration, and here the site administration. Here the course we are doing the site administration for the global work, so it is not activated yet. So here that is a report. So what type of support, that is a what type of activities you can control. So this control how you can see. So these are the activities. So activity completion, I can say that the participants are named activities. They have combined one beautiful audio visual thinking are showing. Here the national level participants. So these are the country code is there. So there is South Africa. These are the Philippines participants, the Indian participants, those who are applied. These participants have been done almost all activities. So whatever the activities they have done, so the details you can see it here. And here it is, you can see the name details, and this is the username, email ID, phone number, and the town, village town, and these are country code. And what are the activities are there? These are the all activities what they have done. These details are here. So whatever I have done in the things, this quiz is being enabled. Nobody has been done the quiz because they cannot do that. So this is full control you can get. So this is the actual virtual learning can be done. So that this is a virtual classroom, how they can do all the control. We need that to give that registration, say that is a roll call in the classroom. So you cannot do that because you need that to do. All the classrooms are roll call in the attendance are coming in this way. They are doing that thing. In the topic they are done with this thing. So they are doing it automatically this thing. So this way. Now so I think it is log out, so I have to do. So for a particular thing, that is that who are observed, so these are the two participants have been observed. So one is the myself. So whatever I have given that is so content, so presentation has not been downloaded by anybody. So this way, so you can download the presentation. So whatever the things you do, and you can see now this one, you can see. Now here you have some buttons are there. In the user field you have to click and download and you can click, because I have selected in manually selection which one you can do. Now I can come to see things here because these are our presentations. Just you click the all presentation. Today here the meeting part is there. You can start the video conferencing meeting first day. And second day, whatever you have selected, I think you have followed that. All the videos, so this is my one is there. The first videos are there, and these are that LMS part 2 and part 3. I have given the time limit is the 3 p.m. So it is, you see, it is a different color because it is a blue color. That means it is a enable the documents, but these two documents are not enabled. What I have shown, because it will enable only after 3 o'clock. Because today 25th August 3 p.m. it will be enabled. So there you can see, there you can download it. Now quiz also, that is that same thing for this one also 3 p.m. and quiz also enabled after 5 p.m. So here you have to quiz, you have to click it and then only you can go to the quiz. It will be enabled for 2 days and you have to, after attending this thing, you click the quiz and you go for the quiz 30 minutes time for answering of the 30 questions. You can answer before that also, you can answer after that also. Okay, now I think I am completing my discussion. Now I ask the question, whatever you have any question to ask. I think we have overrun the time because some 15 minutes glitch was also there. So I think whatever the things I have made some thoughts, because this two part has not been, one part has not been discussed, that is the certificate creation, and another is the moving installation. So that is also some complex part. So moving installation may be discussed in latter part, or I can make some video also, I am thinking. So that, what is the pass criteria of quiz? Pass criteria, you have to attend all that quiz. That is the criteria. Generally, you say that 30% out of that 30 questions, means you have to pass the 9. That also I will think for change. I think 30% anybody can do, because whatever the materials are there, all the things are available in the materials to download the PPTs, and we check it, because after 3 o'clock all PPTs will be enabled to download. Here advantage is you need not to send any email, anything, any work you have to do, just you log in it and download it. Any questions?
I think they have already raised a few questions here regarding the feedback link and all. So almost all the questions I think it got answered. The feedback link will also be given here in the LMS portal itself. You can log in with your user ID and password, and you can give your feedback along with the quiz. And once you have completed your feedback as well as your quiz, and you will pass the passing criteria, you will get the certificate, and you can download it from the account itself. So any more question if you have, you can ask.
Acha Shubhan, I want to add one thing here.
Yeah.
So I think as per the morning discussion, feedback, there will also be a type of question. So we will discuss that feedback question, so we can add it here. I think we have to add the question. So here this portion has not been enabled, so here you can find that is a quiz part is there. So quiz part is here, it is enabled, but we have to time restricted is there after 5 p.m. So here also we have put in a similar way the question is, so we have to click there that means because it is not enabled, you can click it and you can get the feedback questionnaire. Now come for the certificate. Certificate is that here this portion is the first portion is the certificate. I can put it here, and I can think I can put it at the top as a certificate because certificate has not been enabled displayed here. So sometimes maybe confusion if you display it that the user try to click and download, but it is a restriction was there because until unless complete work has not been completed, then they try to click and it will not enable, so they will not get, so sometimes there can be confusion. So it is in visible mode. So I will visible it after completion of quiz and feedback. Now comes to that quiz part is enabled in the 5 p.m. So 2 days will be time, 25, 26, 27. So within this 2 days time you have to answer it. Anytime you can click it, but we ensure that you should have the 30 minutes time. You have to answer the all 30 questions. And these 30 questions overall of all the speakers, they have taken the sessions. This the question is only with that, nothing else. If you don't answer, you may check it once, then you can go for that, and you can go through that PPTs, then only you can go through. And very simple. So 30 minutes time is there. It will start from the 5 p.m. to another time. Only one attempt will be allowed. So this is the.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, and I believe it was a very insightful session, and you have also given a very good demonstration regarding how we can configure, how we can integrate the learning management system in our training institutes, in our educational institutes, and we can track the students' progress at each and every point of time. And it is very vital. It is very vital at this point of time because as we are talking about learning science, learning management system plays a vital role in the success of learning science. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Now we are in the very last part of our session, that is the valedictory session. We have with us the Deputy Director as well as the Course Director of this online international training program, Sri Jibon Krishna Atarji, sir. He is a very senior civil service officer and has been worked in very important position in the Tripura Civil Service Administration. Since last 1 year, he is posted here in the Panchayat Training Institute as Deputy Director Panchayat, and also he is holding the charge of Deputy Director of Panchayats and Deputy Director PRTI. So here I like to request the Deputy Director Panchayat Training Institute as well as the Course Director of this online training program to address the valedictory session. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Subhayan. Very good afternoon to every participant who joined with us for today's online training program. I personally, on behalf of the PRTI Nagar, especially thanks to our honorable speakers, Dr. Debashree Mukherjee, Dr. Jayanta Chaudhary, Assistant Professor Engineer Parthapratim Bhattacharya, Sri Chandra Bhanu Chakraborty, Associate Portfolio Manager, McGraw Hill Education India. Actually, for the last 2 days, I personally feel that this training, from this training we got many things. We have learned many things. So this is our first time initiative so far our state. On behalf of PRTI, I grateful to our scholars, resource persons. I hope we will again and again arrange such type of online training. I hope our resourceful honorable speakers will give their valuable speech. Thank you very much. Hope everybody will stay fit and fine. Thank you.
I believe that the Panchayat Training Institute in Nagar will organize some type of training programs in the days to come. And definitely we will cover more such varied domains, and we will try our level best to cater the need of the participants. So I, on behalf of the Training Institute, like to thank each and every one of you present here, and wish you a very good luck for the days to come. Please sit for the examination, and the feedback link will also get enabled